Should Victor end his decades-long grudge against Jack on the Young and the Restless? On the Young and the Restless, December 1st, Victor's long-standing grudge against Jack Abbott was brought up again. He has always been jealous of his arch-nemesis, but he would never admit it. Victor is also upset with Jack for his past incident involving Nikki. Key takeaways. Victor has a grudge against the Abbotts. But he hates Jack most of all. Jack helped Nikki with her sobriety, but Victor sees it as a form of betrayal. Victor's grudge lives on. The Abbotts celebrated Thanksgiving at the mansion. Jack, Peter Bergman, had a lot to be thankful for this year. He was also grateful to have his family together. But he couldn't stop thinking about Kane's, Billy Flynn, AI program. Victor, Eric Braden, stole it, and he would do anything to take down the Abbotts. Even though he hates the family, he could use it against Jabot. This AI tool is so powerful that it could bleed any company dry. Ashley, Eileen Davidson, offered to speak to Victor. However, Jack believes that nothing would change. After all, Victor hates him most of all. He has harbored a decades-long grudge against him due to a combination of jealousy and perceived slights. Most recently, Victor hasn't liked the way Jack helped Nikki, Melody Thomas Scott, get sober last year. Jack nearly destroyed his sobriety by downing pills, which gave Nikki the reality check that she needed. It was the assurance she needed to get clean again. Victor thought Jack put Nikki in danger. And he won't forgive him for that. Time to move on? Victor should have taken the opportunity on Thanksgiving to express his gratitude to Jack Abbott for what he did for his wife. He helped get Nikki clean and sober. She hasn't looked back at alcohol since then. However, Victor sees Jack as someone who wanted to harm his wife. He can't see past his hate. What also doesn't help matters is that Victor can't leave business behind, in his mind or at home. Victor sees Jack as someone who's had an easy ride for much of his life. He was also jealous of Jack for having a strong father figure, which Victor lacked. He also resented Jack's success and connection to Genoa City. Victor had to take some cutthroat measures to make that happen. That's why he's always so eager to take Jabot down. Because he wants to be the only powerful man in town. But Victor should be thanking Jack for what happened that day. And he should use the holiday, or any other day, to put their differences aside. Because they could be a powerful duo against Kane. For more than 40 years in Genoa City, there has been no feud more iconic, more operatic, or more deliciously combustible than the one between Victor Newman and Jack Abbott. Their names alone conjure images of boardrooms turned battlegrounds, backroom deals as lethal as daggers, and the kind of testosterone-hardened stare-downs that could shatter glass. Their rivalry is part Greek tragedy, part corporate thriller, part family saga, and part pure soap opera myth-making. But myths evolve. Titans fall, rebuild, and rediscover themselves. And time, something even Victor Newman cannot fully command, has a way of softening the sharp edges of legendary battles. So the question is worth asking. Should Victor finally let go of his lifelong grudge against Jack? Or does the feud serve a purpose even now, something deeper than mere spite, something that defines who Victor is? To answer that, we need to step inside the psychology of power, look at the legacy of both men, and consider what happens to Titans when the war that fueled them for decades starts to lose its fire. The feud as identity. Victor's grudge is not just a grudge. It is the architecture of a worldview. Victor Newman has spent his life fighting ghosts, abandonment, failure, the vulnerability he associates with childhood. In Victor's mind, the world is divided into two camps, those who come for you and those you crush before they get the chance. Jack Abbott? He walked into Victor's life wearing confidence like a tailored suit, representing everything Victor despised and secretly feared: entitlement, breezy charm, effortless belonging. Jack belonged to the Abbott dynasty the way Victor never belonged anywhere. So when Jack challenged him, it wasn't just business. It was existential. Ending the grudge means dismantling a piece of Victor's internal compass. And for a man who has built his empire on being perpetually at war, peace feels suspiciously like weakness. 2. Jack's perspective, a mirror, not an enemy. Jack, for all his polished wit and quick temper, has grown markedly over the decades. He has known heartbreak, addiction, devastating loss, and profound self-reflection. Unlike Victor, who often convinces himself that the world bends to his will, Jack has had to face the bruising reality of being human. In this way, Jack serves as Victor's mirror. Both are fiercely loyal sons. Both are ruthless when cornered. Both love their families with a ferocity that borders on obsession. Both are flawed men who refuse to let the past stay buried. The difference is that Jack can forgive. Sometimes reluctantly, sometimes imperfectly, but he can. Ending the grudge would not only bring Victor peace, it would give him a chance to grow in ways he has resisted for years. 3. Legacy. What do the children see? Every feud becomes a legacy if it lasts long enough. The Newman-Abbott conflict has ricocheted through generations like a bullet with no intention of stopping. Victoria and Nicholas have internalized their father's instinct to dominate. Kyle has lived navigating landmines built long before he was born. Abby, Summer, Harrison, none truly understand the origin of the war, only the smoke it continues to release. If Victor ends the feud, he creates something he has never prioritized: a different future for his grandchildren. A future where CEO chairs aren't inherited war zones. A future where the Newman name does not automatically signal vendetta. One could argue that this alone makes peace worth pursuing. 4. The cost of winning a war that never ends. Victor always wins. Except when he doesn't. And the moments he doesn't, Ashley outmaneuvering him, Jack snatching a victory, Adam challenging him, are the moments that eat at him most. The war with Jack has cost Victor his health, his marriages, his relationships with his children, his sanity at times, and, perhaps most painfully, his humanity. There is a point in every warrior's life when the battle becomes indistinguishable from the man wielding the sword. Victor has lived so long inside this rivalry that he may not remember what it's like not to be battling Jack Abbott. Should he let go? Only if he wants to stop bleeding. What would peace even look like? Not a handshake, not at first. Peace between Victor and Jack would be a slow thaw, not a fireworks show. Maybe it starts with necessity, a crisis involving one of their children, a threat from an outsider, a medical emergency. Victor and Jack unite not because they trust each other, but because the world suddenly becomes larger than their pettiness. Maybe then they talk. Not as enemies,